Why do most people stay stuck? It's not because they lack knowledge. It's because they're addicted to comfort and allergic to truth. Comfort zones feel safe, but the longer you stay inside them, the weaker you become. Real strength comes from doing what most people avoid. Think your exhaustion means you're working too hard? It might just mean you're distracted. You're not tired, you're scattered. Welcome to StoicCraft, the channel where ancient wisdom meets modern challenges. Here, we don't talk about living better, we train for it. If you're serious about building discipline, mastering your mind, and becoming the strongest version of yourself, you're in the right place. Have you ever asked yourself why so many people remain trapped in the same place year after year? They spend time reading books that promise transformation. They watch endless motivational videos in the hope of finding a breakthrough. They have countless conversations about change, talking about how their life will improve, about the new habits they plan to adopt, or the opportunities they want to pursue. But when you observe them closely over time, nothing truly changes. Their situation stays the same. Their life stays stuck. Why is that? Because they refuse to face the raw, uncomfortable truths, the hard facts of life that could actually set them free if only they had the courage to accept them. People prefer to avoid these truths, even though facing them is exactly what they need to break free. Comfort zones feel deceptively safe. They provide a false sense of security that makes people feel protected. But in reality, comfort zones are like invisible cages. They do not protect people from discomfort. They prevent them from experiencing growth. Remaining in a comfort zone locks people into cycles of inaction, stagnation, and self-sabotage. Real freedom, the kind that leads to actual change and real personal growth, begin at the exact moment a person stops sugarcoating their reality. Growth starts when you stop lying to yourself. When you stopped telling yourself soft, comforting stories and instead look your situation directly in the eye, accepting it for what it really is. What I'm going to share with you today are 20 harsh truths. These are not intended to discourage you. They are not designed to shame you. The reason for sharing them is to give you something much more valuable: liberation. Once you recognize and accept these truths, your life will begin to shift. Things will start to move, your mind will become clearer. Your actions will finally align with your true goals, and you'll stop wasting years chasing illusions that were never real in the first place. But there's an uncomfortable fact. Most people, after hearing these truths, will reject them. They'll defend their current way of thinking. They'll argue in favor of their excuses. They'll fight to protect their comfort zones, even when those comfort zones are silently destroying their potential. Will you do the same? Or will you be one of the few who actually listen? One of the rare people who allow themselves to be challenged. One of the few who don't just hear these truths, but actually absorb them and let them transform their life. The simple truth is this: your life will only rise to the level of truth you are willing to accept. Every truth you deny becomes a wall that keeps you stuck where you are. Every truth you face becomes a key that unlocks your next level of growth. The more truth you deny, the longer you remain stuck. The more truth you face, the more you evolve. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. These words weren't intended as poetry. They weren't meant to simply inspire or sound philosophical. They were, in fact, instructions a key. He was telling you where your real power has always been, inside your own mind. Your perspective, your decisions, your daily actions. These are your actual tools. This is where your freedom starts. With that in mind, pause and ask yourself honestly, in what areas of your life are you still waiting? Where are you secretly holding on to hope that someone else or some external event will appear and solve your problems for you? Are you waiting for someone to offer you an opportunity? Waiting for life to suddenly get easier? Identify those areas clearly. Recognize them. Because clarity is the first step toward change. And after recognizing them, make a choice. Choose responsibility over waiting. Choose deliberate action over passivity. Choose to become the person who takes charge instead of the person who hopes to be saved. Because when you stop waiting and start moving, something profound happens. You stop simply surviving. You begin to lead. You rise above where you've been stuck. You develop capabilities that until now you didn't even know were within you. And perhaps most importantly, you transform into the very person you've been hoping would come and rescue you. That's the true power Marcus Aurelius spoke of. That power has always been yours. It has simply been waiting for you to claim it. Here's another truth, one that feels unfair when you first hear it. Life doesn't care about your emotions. Life responds to your actions. This concept can be difficult to accept. After all, we are emotional creatures. We feel deeply. We experience joy, sadness, frustration, disappointment, hope. And somewhere along the way, many of us develop a dangerous belief that life should somehow respond to these feelings. That if we feel sad enough, someone will come and comfort us. That if we feel stuck long enough, the universe will eventually send us a sign. That if we feel deserving, success will magically arrive. But that's not how life works. Life doesn't respond to your inner storms. Reality doesn't care how frustrated you are. It doesn't reward you for how long you've been sad. Life is not moved by your emotions alone. It responds to what you do. It reacts to consistent effort. It acknowledges discipline. It rewards clarity of action, not intensity of feeling. At first, this realization may feel harsh, but in truth, it's freeing. Why? Because it means you're not powerless in the face of your emotions. You're not doomed to an action just because you feel anxious or uninspired. You have the ability to choose action, even when your feelings tell you otherwise. And when you choose action, life begins to respond. Think about the people you know. How many of them are trapped in cycles dictated by their emotions? They wake up tired, so they skip the workout. They feel anxious, so they avoid opportunities. They feel uninspired, so they abandon creative work. And each day, life reflects their choices, not their feelings, back to them. Not because life is cruel, but because this is simply the law of cause and effect. If you do not act, life cannot respond. If you don't move, life doesn't move. If you don't plant, nothing grows. The Stoics understood this principle with absolute clarity. They didn't reject emotions, they acknowledged them, but they refused to be ruled by them. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. Notice carefully. He didn't say what you feel becomes the way. He pointed to action, because it is through action, not internal narratives alone, that we shape our world. None of this suggests that emotions are bad. Emotions are valuable signals. They inform you about what matters to you, what you fear, what you long for, but they are not commands. They are not legitimate reasons to freeze and do nothing. If you choose to act only when you feel ready, only when you feel perfectly motivated, then most of your life will be wasted in hesitation. The key is to act anyway, to teach yourself to move forward, even when it feels uncomfortable. Why? Because over time, this discipline rewires your relationship with emotion itself. Your emotions stop being obstacles. They become observations. You notice them, but they no longer control you. Here's something important to remember. Life constantly responds to the habits you practice. If you habitually withdraw when anxious, your life shrinks. If you push forward despite fear, your life expands. The signals you send through your consistent actions are what life reflects back to you, not your emotions whispered in silence. And this is why Stoic discipline is so powerful. It trains you to act from virtue and purpose, rather than from fleeting emotional states. It teaches you to show up consistently, even when your mood fluctuates. And when you do this long enough, something remarkable happens. Your emotions begin to align with your actions. You start feeling more confident. You feel more resilient. You feel more grounded. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you became stronger. Now, ask yourself, where in your own life are you waiting for a certain emotion before you act? Are you waiting to feel motivated before starting that important project? Are you waiting to feel ready before setting necessary boundaries? Are you waiting to feel brave before pursuing a goal that scares you? What if you reversed that approach? What if you chose to act first and allowed the right emotions to catch up later? Because here's the truth. The world isn't waiting to see how you feel. It's waiting to see what you'll do. When you take action, when you start planting seeds through deliberate, disciplined effort, life begins to move in response. Not because life cares about your emotions, but because life respects the law of cause and effect. Act, and the world responds. Wait, and the world waits with you. The choice has always been yours. Humans were not designed to live in a state of constant stimulation. Our minds are not naturally wired to handle endless input without consequence. And yet, this is exactly what modern life demands from us. We live surrounded by constant notifications, endless streams of emails, relentless updates from social media, and the compulsion to keep scrolling. Multitasking has become the norm. Each one of these things divides your mind. Each one pulls your attention away from the present moment, away from clarity, and away from the state of flow where meaningful work actually happens. When your attention is scattered in every direction, your energy leaks out of you. You don't feel depleted because you've done too much. Ironically, you feel exhausted because you've done too little of what actually matters. This is what the Stoics would warn us about. They would say, attend to what is within your control. Be deliberate in how you live. And yet, most people today live the opposite of a deliberate life. They begin their day in a reactive state. The first thing they do is reach for their phone. They check messages, scroll through notifications, and get pulled into small, trivial matters before even leaving bed. Hours pass, consumed by distractions, and yet, by the end of the day, nothing meaningful has been accomplished. They feel exhausted. But it is not the exhaustion that comes from focused, productive work. It's not the satisfying tiredness after a day spent building, creating, or learning something valuable. True fatigue from meaningful effort leaves you feeling physically tired but mentally fulfilled. There's a deep satisfaction that comes from spending your energy on what matters. Your mind feels sharp. Your actions feel purposeful. You feel alive, but the exhaustion most people feel today is counterfeit. It's a fake fatigue created by constant overstimulation. Scroll social media for hours and you'll feel drained. Jump between 10 different tasks all day and your mind will feel fried. The mind confuses this overstimulation with genuine exhaustion. You tell yourself, I need rest. But in reality, what you need is stillness. What you need is focus. What you need is simplicity. Now, consider this seriously. How would your life change if you started protecting your attention as fiercely as you protect your money or your time? What would shift if every morning, before doing anything else, you asked yourself one simple question: what is truly worth my focus today? And then, what if you acted on that answer by stripping away the distractions, by committing to doing deep, undistracted work on that one thing? The truth is, most of the exhaustion people complain about would vanish. Why? Because when your attention is aligned, when you're focused on a single meaningful task, your energy flows naturally. Energy follows focus. This is why the Stoics practiced not only mental discipline, but also environmental discipline. They were deliberate not only with their thoughts, but with their surroundings. They understood that what you repeatedly focus on shapes both your results and your inner state. Your external environment influences your internal clarity. So, where is your attention leaking? Are you spreading yourself thin by trying to accomplish too many things at once? Are you constantly interrupting your own focus with unnecessary distractions? Are you spending more time consuming content than creating meaningful output? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then your fatigue is not a mystery. It's a logical consequence. And the solution is not more caffeine. It's not even more sleep. The real solution is clarity. It's the ruthless elimination of what doesn't matter. It's the disciplined commitment every single day to focus deeply on what truly counts. And when you start doing this, something powerful happens. That so-called exhaustion begins to fade. Your mind sharpens, your energy returns. Not because life became easier, but because you stopped scattering yourself in all directions. You stopped exhausting yourself on the trivial and started living with focus, with purpose. Remember this: you are not as tired as you think you are. You are as distracted as you allow yourself to be. Reclaim your focus, and you will reclaim your vitality. When you avoid discomfort, life begins to overwhelm you. Even small challenges start to feel unbearable. Simple obstacles that you could once manage now feel like massive, immovable barriers. Your tolerance shrinks. Your inner strength weakens. But on the other hand, when you consciously choose to lean into discomfort, when you willingly face difficult conversations, pursue challenging goals, confront your fears, and consistently practice discipline, you grow stronger. Each of these uncomfortable moments expands your capacity. You stretch your limits. You build resilience. And this resilience creates something far more valuable than temporary comfort. It builds lasting confidence and inner peace. A peace not built on escaping difficulty, but on knowing you can handle it. Here's something worth reflecting on. When most people look back on their lives, what do they regret? It's rarely the discomfort they experienced. People seldom regret the pain they endured for growth. Instead, their deepest regrets often come from the opportunities they avoided simply because they were uncomfortable. They regret the dreams they never pursued. They regret the boundaries they failed to set. They regret the truths they never spoke, all because they wanted to avoid temporary pain. And by avoiding that short-term discomfort, they unknowingly traded it for long-term regret. This is why the Stoics taught us that the obstacle is the way. The difficulty in front of you is not a signal to retreat. It's a signal to advance. The very thing you are avoiding, the uncomfortable conversation, the challenging project, the change you know you need to make, that is not what's holding you back. Avoiding it is what's holding you back. Because beyond discomfort lies growth. On the other side of fear is new strength, new wisdom, and a deeper sense of capacity. Every time you choose avoidance, you shrink your potential. Every time you face discomfort directly, you expand who you are. So ask yourself with complete honesty, where in your life are you currently avoiding discomfort? Is there a conversation you've been postponing? A goal you've been silently pushing aside? A difficult truth you're refusing to face? Or perhaps a change you know you need, but haven't yet found the courage to initiate? Here's the key insight. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the fear or the discomfort to disappear. It won't. It never does. The only way forward is through the discomfort itself. And when you move through it, when you lean into the resistance, you change. You grow. And the beauty is this: discomfort is temporary. Growth is permanent. The fear, the pain, the hesitation, they fade. But the strength you gain, the clarity you find, and the confidence you build, those stay with you. They become part of who you are. Remember this: the life you truly want, the goals you dream of, the relationships you desire, the sense of peace and purpose you seek exists on the other side of discomfort. Not in avoiding it, not in waiting for it to fade, but in confronting it one deliberate choice at a time. So choose discomfort. Choose growth. Choose the path that challenges you. Because in doing so, you choose to become someone stronger than you are today. Growth also brings with it another uncomfortable truth. As you evolve, you will inevitably outgrow people and places. This can be one of the hardest lessons to accept, not because it's illogical, but because it feels deeply personal. You begin to change. You seek progress. You start chasing personal development and self-mastery, and suddenly certain friendships start feeling heavier. Certain environments that once felt comforting now feel suffocating. Conversations that once energized you now leave you drained, and you might find yourself questioning, what's wrong with me? Or why do I feel disconnected from people I once loved being around? But here's the simple truth: it's not betrayal, It's evolution. As you grow, you will outgrow. This isn't arrogance, it's not superiority. It's simply the natural process of human development. Who you were 5 years ago is not who you are today. And if you're truly committed to your highest potential, then who you are today won't be who you are 5 years from now. Growth means shedding old layers. It means expanding beyond old boundaries. And that naturally means some relationships. And environments will no longer align with your path. But here's where many people sabotage their growth. They cling. Out of loyalty, out of guilt, out of nostalgia. They hold on to friendships that no longer reflect their values. They remain in environments that no longer nourish them. They keep themselves small to fit the expectations of people who are no longer growing with them. And slowly their progress stalls. Not because they lack capability, but because they refuse to release what no longer fits. The Stoics understood this. Life is in constant flux. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change. Fighting change causes suffering. Flowing with change creates growth, yet we romanticize the past. We tell ourselves, I owe it to them or I can't. Leave this behind, it's been part of my life for so long." But ask yourself, do you owe your future to your past? Or do you owe it to the person you are becoming? Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself and for others is to let go. Allow certain relationships to complete their season in your life. Appreciate what they gave you, but don't remain bound to them out of obligation. Because when you cling to what no longer aligns, you dishonor not only your own growth, but also the authenticity of the connection itself. This applies to environments too. Certain places nourish your spirit, others drain it. You must be ruthless about where you spend your time. Your surroundings shape your mindset, your habits, your energy. Stay too long in an environment that no longer fits, and it will begin pulling you backward. Here's what you need to remember. Outgrowing is not abandonment. It's not betrayal. It's life. It's growth. And it's necessary. You can love people and still choose a different path. You can be grateful for a place and still decide to move forward. And often, by releasing what no longer fits, you create space. Space for new connections, new environments, new opportunities that align with your next level of growth. But that space cannot open until you have the courage to let go. Ask yourself, where are you holding on too tightly? Are you clinging to relationships that drain your energy? Are you anchored in places that stifle your growth? Are you holding on to versions of yourself that no longer align with who you are becoming? Not everyone is meant to walk your full journey, and that's not failure. That's natural. Some people are in your life for a season, a chapter, a lesson. Honor that, appreciate it. But don't let it chain you. Growth demands that you release, that you create room, that you evolve. And when you do, you step into a life that belongs to you, not a life shaped by past attachments, but one defined by your current values and future vision. Let go. And grow. If today's message challenged your thinking, good. That means you're growing. But don't just listen, act. Start building your discipline today. And if you're ready for more, hit subscribe to join the StoicCraft community. New insights, timeless philosophy, practical change every week. Stay steady, Stay grounded. Keep walking the quiet path forward.